Everyone, welcome to another YouTube video. My name's Ben Lister. Hope you are all well. Just a quick update. Today's interview is episode 10 of the Chatbox podcast. Today's guest is Glen Pinder, the legendary Glen Pinder from Radio Aire, Magic 828 and loads of other stations. He may have even done a few jobs at Magic 1161, who knows. So yeah, here's Glen Pinder, the Leeds legend. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you're all well, hope you're all staying safe. And yeah, here's the interview with the legendary Glen Pinder. And I'll see you for the wrap-up. BL out.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Chatterbox podcast. Here for episode 10. How are you doing today? Right, let's crack on. As you know, each week I have a guest to talk about their career or job, so let's crack on with this week's guest. It's the broadcasting legend, Glen Pinder. Hello Glen, welcome along.
Hello, nice to be called a broadcasting legend. It's not often in that, so very kind of you, Ben. Thank you. How are you? You okay?
Bit tired, but I'll get there.
Oh, you'll be all right. It's nearly Friday.
Yep. 5 questions about your broadcast career, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yep.
So shall we start as we mean to go on?
I think we shall. Yeah. Off you go then.
You ready to rumble in the jungle?
I'm always ready to rumble in any jungle, Ben. So let's do it.
Let's go for it. Question 1. Where did you start your broadcast career?
Well, this is it's kind of a weird story, but I started my broadcast career at St James's Hospital in Leeds. They have their own broadcast, as many hospitals do, and as where many people start their careers at hospital radio. And on the same day that I went for that interview, I went for an interview at a radio station called Radio Aire, which is in Leeds, for those that don't know where that is or was. And I went in for an interview for what's called a tech op, which is a technical operative, which basically drives the shows that maybe pre-recorded or maybe didn't have a presenter on at that time. This is pre-automation, etc. So on that particular day, I started doing a show on hospital radio, and I started being a tech op at Radio Aire. So so that's where it started out, really. And I went on to broadcast at Radio Aire for 12 years. And then I moved over to Magic, which is in the next room, Magic 828. I was on there for 6-7 years, and then I took over the Magic Network for 2 years, so across Yorkshire. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky to, I'm pretty humbled to have worked in my own area where I grew up, and the station I grew up listening to for so long.
That's brilliant. Have you ever been to the, did you ever go to the Magic 1161 studios in the Hull area?
I did, yes, on many occasions, yeah.
A lot of great presenters came through those doors.
They did, yeah. And yeah, nice building as well. Yeah, really good. So yeah, I broadcast on Magic 1161 for a period of time because I was on the Magic Network, which went right across Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire. So yeah, good place.
Yeah, and also one of the people who broadcasted in the area who's been a previous guest on my podcast as well. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure, Martin Kellner.
Yeah, I know Martin through quite a few people. I met him once. Nice guy. Radio Leeds legend as well. So
yeah, legend. He still lives in the area.
Good.
Yeah. Question 2. Who were your inspirations in broadcasting growing up?
Gosh, so many. But I'd probably say first and foremost to my friend and mentor, and he's still one of my best friends today, and he's a Hull lad. There's a guy called Carl Kingston. And Carl has been around, you know, certainly a big name in your area, and of course came across to Leeds in the mid 80s, where he remained for quite some time. And I guess a lot of us say growing up, but certainly for me, listened to his evening show, which were quite legendary at that time. Johnny Walker, another guy who inspired me to, I don't know, work on my voice and stuff, and always a great manner on air, and just a great broadcast, a great knowledge of music, and somebody else who kind of probably paved the way for people like me, who are just the ordinary guy who managed to get to win the dream job, really. And there's a guy called Chris Evans. Chris was a guy I listened to way back on Radio 1. He did a Sunday show called Too Much Gravy. And at the time when he came on, he was like a breath of fresh air and just so different in his manner and how he was and how he spoke. And that kind of thought, well, do you know what? I think I could probably do this. And yeah, there we are. The rest is history. It comes with a lot of hard work and stuff, but you need your heroes, and it's good to meet your heroes and find out what they're like in real life. And it's also great to have these people. I mean, I was very lucky to meet Carl, and he became my mentor, in some respects for many years, and I still turn to him for advice if I need it. So there we go.
Brilliant. Some of my inspirations are a bit like Terry Wogan.
Mm-hmm. My dad was always a fan. Yeah.
And one of my other inspirations as well is Ken Bruce a little bit.
Yeah, great presenter, great guy. Still sounds contemporary in the way that he presents his shows, and he's a funny guy as well. Funny guy, really good. So always good to listen to people like that.
As I say, a lot of things are unfortunately becoming network, but that's the world we live in at the moment.
I don't know, is it unfortunate? Unfortunate for who? The listener.
Unfortunate for some, but fortunate.
Yeah, the presenters that lose their jobs, I guess it is unfortunate. But in terms of the listener, we never lose track of what the listener wants. And I think Radio 1, Radio 2 is a national show, so a lot of stations have turned national now, but there are still some great local radio stations doing the rounds. And I think the great thing now is that weren't around when I started out were community stations. Community stations are fantastic. So everybody who's working on a community station right now, keep up the good work.
I actually am at the moment. I'm doing a few shows for Hull Kingston Radio. Yeah,
brilliant.
We have a few presenters on board, like Dave Nightingale, Dan Murphy, Pete Mills, myself, Darren Leatham, and loads of other great names.
Yeah, it's and in terms of like the ones that I work for, Great Driffield Radio, and for the ones like Rombold's Radio and stuff, that's not necessarily a community station, but Great Driffield is, and you know what? They sound brilliant. People like me on there, doing that, radio professionals. I do it as my hobby now. Do you know what I mean? It's my hobby these days. So I've kind of done full circle really in terms of doing the presenting thing. And yeah, it's good. It's good. So anybody working in community radio, keep up the good work.
It was a bit like the first time I did this year. I got starstruck because my first guest was Stephanie Hurst.
Ah, bless her.
I used to listen to her on Capital back in the day and Viking.
Yeah. Bless her. Yeah. No, go back a long way. Go back a long way.
On the breakfast show with Danny and Jojo.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. I was just feeling nervous and starstruck because talking to her, and I didn't expect it in a million years to be speaking to the host of one of the people who I listened to growing up, and Steve Jordan as well, because I used to listen to him on Viking.
Right. Brilliant. Yeah, it's always good to meet your heroes.
I didn't expect to be interviewing them.
Well, I'm sure they were very humbled.
Yeah. Question 3. What is your favourite part about the job?
Oh, Lord. So many parts of the job that are great. I mean, if I did a proper job before I started being a presenter, you know, and I do a proper job now. But the reality is that, you know, getting paid to talk and entertain people and communicate with them, you know, I am still to this day mind blown that I ended up getting to do it. So I suppose being able to talk one-to-one with someone, being able to add a bit of brightness to their day. There's a lot of people who have, you know, different things going on in their life. So if, you know, as I did the breakfast show for all those years, you know, trying to motivate them to get out of bed, go to work and feel good about themselves, you know, that's a powerful thing that to do. I used to always enjoy talking to the listeners on the phone. You know, they probably not ring up about anything other than just they want you to chat or whatever. So, you know, you almost become like a bit of a social worker, really. And being able to talk to, you know, people like, you know, I've done radio for so long and done so many shows, but I managed to broadcast to my own patch for my whole career. You know, the radio station I grew up listening to, I ended up being on for 2 decades. And you know, so that, you know, I think that just outweighs anything. In fairness, you know, just always very grateful for that opportunity. And yeah, so yeah, very, very, very good. But, you know, so many great things about it. And what's not to like? You know, when we're all in a job, we all complain about this, that, and the other. But, you know, what would you rather be doing? You know, we never take it away from the fact that we're very, very lucky to do what we do. So that's it, really.
You ever been inside the BBC or the Globals building down in Leeds?
I have, yes. I've been very fortunate to go inside BBC Yorkshire and Global's building as well. So yeah, been in both. Very good, very nice places.
It houses both Capital FM and Heart Yorkshire, I think, in there.
It does indeed.
Yeah, which is brilliant as well, because lots of great presenters have come through those doors.
And many great presenters went through the radio air doors, I can tell you. You were talking about one earlier on, weren't you? James Whale. You know, he went on to become this national superstar. He's still doing his radio now. Just so many great people. Ray Stroud, Peter Tate, you know, Roger Kirk. The list goes on. Seriously, it does. Simon Logan. You know, lots of great presenters. So, you know, I think every radio station has many people that go through their doors. You know, it's part of the trappings. But yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever been to the ITV lot next door?
Yeah, some of it, not all of it. It's quite a big site, and it's based around 3 or 4 different buildings as well. So, been inside the Emmerdale thing. We've been to the Emmerdale village. Went inside where they film Calendar, and the main YTV thing. So I've been in most of them, but only in bits of it, not the whole, not a full tour as such.
Someone who I've become acquainted with over the last few weeks, Krista Ackroyd.
Oh yeah, she was at Radio Air. She was at Radio Air for years.
Did you work with her at Radio Air?
No, Krista left before I did, or before I joined, but she was there for quite some time, and she was program controller for quite some time as well.
Yeah, because she went on to work with Richard Whiteley.
Yeah.
Then the legendary Harry Gratian.
Yeah, both legends.
Have you ever met both of them?
Richard Whiteley, the weirdest conversation I ever had with Richard Whiteley was I turned up, I was doing late show on Radio Air, and I walked in, and we had a pool table in the office, and I walked in, and Tommy Vance was playing pool with Richard Whiteley. I don't know if you're aware of the name Tommy Vance.
Yeah.
Tommy Vance, just an absolute legend on Virgin Radio, the original guys, the voiceover, Radio 1, long before that, and such a great guy, you know, just a rock god. And he was playing pool with Richard Whiteley in the office, and they were there to film a wind-up type thing. But yeah, that was pretty surreal. That.
Brilliant. Question 4. How has COVID affected your life and line of work?
Well, I got COVID earlier this year. That wasn't pleasant, but in terms of my life, well, I don't know. I managed to get to spend time with my wife and my kids, which, you know, quite, I'm always going to be grateful for that, because I've had a year where I've been closer to my kids, Blake and Emily, and my wife, Claire. And, you know, normally we're just busy with work or busy with life, and it's tough. So I'm always going to be grateful for that. But in terms of work, mixture of working in the office and working remotely. As you can see behind me, I've got all the kit at home, so I can work remotely quite easily. But I like going in the office. I like seeing people and talking to people. And that, you know, when you work in an environment like a radio station, like a company like I work at, which is KVH Media Group, where, you know, it's a creative environment, and you've got to bounce off other creative types of people. So I prefer going in the office, but, you know, granted that there were times when we had to work at home, and you know, we can do that as well. So, but yeah, I prefer it being in the office. So in terms of that, I think it, you know, in the main, we've got through it and we're okay.
Yeah, and that's good. And also, I'd love to do a bit of voiceover work one day.
Well, you know, you just keep practicing at doing it and making sure you get your craft right, and, you know, just keep trying. That's all you got to do. Just keep trying at it. It's like anything, isn't it?
Yeah, I was being looked after by a guy who's a rock god on our station, a guy called Pete Tyler.
Right. He sounds like
Yeah.
a rock god, doesn't he, Pete Tyler?
Yeah, because he used to work at Viking back in the day, I believe.
Did he? Which day did you think he was there? Which time?
I think it was just as JK and Joel were on breakfast, I believe.
Right, yeah. Great guys. Good
Yeah.
guys then too.
Yeah, great duo.
Yep, absolutely. Nice guys as well.
Have you ever met them two?
I worked with them for 2 years and played football with them for 2 years. I went drinking with them for 2 years. So yeah, it's known fairly well.
Yeah, and also there's also someone who, Darren Leatham's trying to help me to get sometime in the future, Sam Haywood as well.
All right, yeah, Sam.
If you've ever met
her. Probably, yeah. You meet quite a few people over the years, but yeah, I know who she is, and yeah, nice lass.
Yeah. Question 5, the last question on the list.
Yep.
What advice would you give to young, aspiring broadcasters who are starting out?
All right, so probably 3 different points here. Maybe even go on longer, but live as much of your life outside the studio as you can. Okay, because that gives you experience to talk about these things. You've got a connection with the audience and empathy with the audience. It's all right having a nice voice if you've got not much to say. You know, in some cases that's all right, but, you know, you've got to have empathy what people are doing. So yeah, always be yourself, and love every moment that you're actually on the air. You know, nobody wants to listen to somebody who's miserable or somebody who's whinging on about stuff. You know, people are there to be inspired and entertained, and, you know, that's just literally it. Just be inspiring, be entertaining, and get the radio to be this force of nature which just makes everybody feel positive.
Yeah, that's brilliant. You're a legend, Glenn.
Thank you.
You want to? Yeah, I'll have to come up to. I'm planning to come up to Leeds and other cities to do a radio station tour in the future.
Right. Yeah, there's plenty in Leeds going on. Well, there's plenty where you are, aren't there? Plenty around your way, really. So
yeah, I'm planning to do a radio station interview quite a bit, because we have the BBC over here as well. We have people like Peter Levy, James
I know.
Hogarth, if you've heard of him.
Yeah, Peter Levy's just a legend. I used to listen to Peter Levy when I was a kid, and I'm older, 2 years older than God. So
He worked at Radio Aire, didn't he?
he did, yes, yeah, absolutely. Back in the real early days of it.
Yeah. And then he worked for BBC Radio Leeds, and then he ended up on Look North, and now he's ended up on Look North over here.
That's right, yeah.
And
yeah,
his
he's
producer
a nice guy.
on his radio show was a certain Mr. James Pykos.
All right, yeah. I worked with James at Radio Aire as well. He did some shifts for us over there. So
Very hard-working guy.
yeah, nice guy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, Glenn.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Keep doing what you're doing and keep spreading the word, inspiring the next generation of radio presenters, and hope to catch you soon.
Do join me again for another podcast, but for now, please give it up for my guest, Glen Pinder. Thank you very much for listening, and that's a wrap.
That was my interview with the legendary Glen Pinder. There'll be more coming up where I interview next time the legendary George Smith from KCFM and Links FM group, and now he's part of the BBC fold. So yeah, join me then for episode 10 for George Smith. But for now, please like, subscribe, and do whatever you've got to do. And I hope you enjoy it. BL out.